self-regeneration. So let me ask you, have you ever considered that you are a living masterpiece in constant rebirth? Because on a chemical level, you are actually made out of elements. You're a cocktail, like an elixir of different elements, mainly oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. But beyond the chemical composition, you are also made out of light and frequency. Yes, you have trillions of cells. They are like a radiating sun that are pulsing with life force and radiating with electricity. Isn't that incredible? And then your heart sends out an electromagnetic frequency, which reaches ways beyond your body. You can actually tap into the field of others with your frequency. And your brain sends out a waveform which creates matter. So you are constantly renewing yourself and recreating yourself. This is incredible. I want you to really become aware of what that really means. And this process, this is a sacred process, can actually be interrupted, but not by fate nor by time. It can be interrupted by your own self-imposed limitations, and also by the collective hypnosis and mental superstition. So once we're aware of it, the game changes. And you must know your body decays because of wear and tear, and also of numbness, and abusing and neglecting yourself. And that might not seem like not resonating to you, but I want to quickly go into what it really means, neglecting yourself, abusing yourself, and numbing yourself, because that's something pretty much everyone does. And if you don't think you're doing it, you might not even be aware, because it happens on a subconscious level. So every time you eat something that does not come from nature, that actually contains substances that is numbing your energy. It is numbing your life force. It actually leaves a waste in your body that the body has a very hard time to process and eliminate. So over time, if you're eating too many things that are processed, that do not come from the purity of nature, it leaves a waste. And then over time, this waste becomes bigger and bigger. And at some point, the body creates stagnation. It's too much for your body to handle. The toxic load is too big. And then the body, what happens? The body creates inflammation. And there's blockages and stagnation in your body. It interrupts the flow of energy. That interrupts the natural pattern of digesting and eliminating and assimilating. All that is no longer functioning optimally. And that shows up as having low energy, aches and pains in your body, stiffness, and at some point it affects your organs. And then it leads to all kinds of conditions, which the medical system gives it all kinds of names. So just know at the root cause of any condition in your body, any disease, any illness, is stagnation. There's a block in your body. There's a physical block and an energetic block. And nothing flows and moves like it should be. Because a truly healthy body, which is homeostasis, is constantly moving and flowing. And you can see it like a river. You know, the river flows, but when there is stagnation, the water doesn't flow as it's supposed to. And then what happens? It starts building stuff. All kinds of things will form and build in the river. So there's a dam, and then it attracts all kinds of critters and mosquitoes, and things will start forming. And that's exactly what's happening in your body. And then you start not feeling so good anymore. Your energy is declining, and the natural accelerated aging sets in and naturally leads to disease. So we want to understand it's really the blocks in your body that causes decays. And as I mentioned, one source that could create blocks is processed food. Food that does not come from Mother Nature, it does not grow on a tree or come from the earth. Food from a package. Food that is loaded with chemicals and preservatives. All that creates problems. And also, another thing is not getting the body moving. We're not meant to have a sedentary lifestyle. And most people, they sit most of the time. And if you sit, that also causes all kinds of blockages to form because we're naturally meant to be moving. And when I speak of movement, it's not just simply about walking. That's actually not enough. It's a beginning, to walk, but just taking a walk each day is not enough. When I speak of movement, we require, first of all, we require movement that actually gets the heart beating, gets you sweating, gets you breathing heavy. That's the kind of movement I'm talking, high interval training. We also need flexibility training because a big piece on health is your spine. Your spine houses your nervous system, critical piece. And actually, Joseph Pilates said you're only as healthy and as young as the flexibility of your spine. So the question is, how flexible is your spine? So we need to do exercise that gets our spine flexible, such as yoga, Pilates, any kind of stretching, bending, twisting, squatting, squeezing the body. You need to learn to keep the spine flexible. And there's a way you can be flexible in your 50s, 60s, 70s, have a flexible spine, but it requires regular practice. And then we need exercise movements such as weightlifting, any kind of strength training. Because at some point, this usually starts around 35, sometimes even earlier, the body loses muscle mass and loses bone density. So we need to put pressure onto our bones by lifting weights, by pushing, by using you can use the body as a weight or working with weights or going to the gym. But we all need that pressure onto our bones and create muscle to keep healthy at any age. So these are the critical movement piece, okay? Movement is not walking. Movement is high interval training, anything such as running, jumping. Jumping on a trampoline is one of the best things. You might have one in your basement, so now is the time to get your trampoline out. And if you don't have one, it might be something to invest in because it's worthy to do that. Because when you jump on a trampoline, what happens? You're actually stimulating your lymphatic system. That means toxicity is being removed. It's actually, you're detoxing when you jump on a trampoline. Also, all your internal organs are being massaged and you're toning your body nicely, and it actually increases your energy and vitality of your body. So that's one of the greatest things you can do. Then anything you can do, flexibility, you can just get a yoga block and a yoga mat and do it at home. But if you can't do it, you don't have the discipline, you go somewhere and you sign up. You go to a gym, they have yoga classes, or sign up at a yoga studio. But it's critical to get yourself twisting and doing all kinds of flexibility training and also the strength training. So we got to do this on a regular basis, ideally every day or at least every other day, or even better, 5 times a week. You take 6 times a week and 1 day off. But these pieces are critical to have movement in your body. And then another piece is regular detox. That means, you can start with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting means you have an eating window and a non-eating window. You can eat between 10 and 6, and then the other times you don't eat, and that actually trains your body to be okay with not having any food come in. If you do this on a regular basis, the body gets used to it and being okay with not eating food in a while. And then your body can actually rest and reset and can detox, especially at night. Don't eat before you go to bed. You want to have at least 3 or even better 5 hours before going to sleep, not eating anything. So at night, when you sleep, the body is doing what it's designed to do, which is detox and also reset and rebuild and regenerate and rejuvenate. That is the job of the body at night. But if you eat late night, when you go to bed, your body is actually digesting at night. You will not get good quality sleep. And sleep is also critical for regeneration. And you want to get to bed early. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to go to sleep early, because the body heals and heals the best between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So if you go to bed at 1, you're actually missing this critical window. Even before 10, 9 o'clock is a great time. That's when the body heals the fastest and the most efficient. And good quality sleep means uninterrupted sleep. Not sleeping a few hours, going to the bathroom and sleeping in a few hours. No, that is not uninterrupted sleep. You want to get 7 to 8 hours uninterrupted sleep. So if you don't have that, you're missing a critical component of pro-youthening and self-healing, getting the good quality sleep. And it really helps having empty stomach when you go to bed. Makes a huge difference than eating late. And you want to get your dinner something light that is easy to digest for your body, not something heavily dense, fried food or heavily cooked food. Ideally, a salad is great at night so your body can digest it fast. And you go to bed, you get a good night's sleep, and then you wake up in the morning with energy. And that is our natural state, to wake up with energy. But most people wake up feeling tired and they need a coffee. And that's not like this is not your natural state. You know, if you still live in this paradigm, you're missing something. You know, because your natural state is actually to wake up feeling good, feeling inspired, waking up without an alarm clock. Most people need an alarm clock just to get out of bed. Then they need a coffee to make it through their morning. That is not living vibrantly, okay? And it doesn't have to be that way. Just know, maybe you have bought into this paradigm that we need something, a stimulant to wake us up. We need something to wake us up. But our natural state is to wake up when we're done sleeping. If you get good quality sleep, you will wake up naturally. You don't need an alarm clock. You just wake up when your body is done with the detox and the regeneration. And then you wake up feeling inspired for your day. And a big piece has to do with having a purpose in life. Because if you don't have a purpose, it will be very hard to wake up inspired. But if you're on a mission, you have something in your life that drives you. You wake up in the morning excited for the days. You wake up in the morning thinking, oh, what am I gonna create today? What miracles am I gonna create today? How much joy am I gonna experience today? What does my heart desire today? How can I make a difference today? How can I be of my greatest contribution today? That's the mentality you wake up with. And then you have your brain is going into creativity mode and creating ideas and solutions, and you come up with all kinds of things how you can show up today. But if you don't have that, if you feel like, oh, I gotta get to work, you don't like what you're doing, you still live in this mediocrity paradigm where most people live, that you just have to get a job. Maybe one day you can retire, you can finally relax. How about living fully right here, right now? Living your biggest dreams and making a difference for others. And showing up like the way you're supposed to, like the way nature created for you. Showing up fully. Being fully embodied in your soul's purpose. Having something that gets you going, that really you can't wait to do it every single day. That is really a big piece also. You know, having something that drives you, living from your heart, creating a life that you truly love, a life that gets you excited. So everything feels like lovemaking. Every interaction in life is like an exchange of love. You're exchanging love with other people by sharing your gift, by receiving their gift, by creating together something. When you run on this frequency, you will naturally wake up early because you can't wait to get started. And if you're still living in this paradigm, oh, I'm so tired and not having energy, then you want to also look, you know, what are you putting in? What are you feeding yourself with? Not just the food, what thoughts are you feeding yourself with? What thoughts are running around in your consciousness on a daily basis? It's about observing these thoughts. Are the thoughts that you're thinking coming from love, from passion? Are they coming from beauty and excitement? Or are they coming from fear, worry, doubt? Do you feel like you don't know, you're scared about the future? Or are you excited about the future? Do you have a vision for your life? Do you have something that you're excited about, something you want to build, something you want to create? That's always the question. Every day you do wake up, what am I going to create today? And what I'm going to create in the next year, having kind of a plan, you know? What am I going to create in the next 5 years? What is my goal? What is my dream? Because if you have a vision, a dream, a goal that pulls you, you have something to look forward to, instead of living just every day passes and nothing ever changes. And you live in this place of, you know, feeling uncertain, being afraid of the future, and constantly worrying about what's gonna happen, how things unfolding. How about living in excitement, being so excited about the future and living at the same time, living here right now fully? So I want to ask you, what can you do today to live fully? How can you live more fully every single moment? Maybe it's time to find something that truly excites you. Maybe it's time to connect to new people. Maybe it's time to go to a place you've never been before. Maybe it's time to really take on something, take on a risk. You know, all these things that get us excited. And this is also part of health, because health has many different aspects. Yes, the nutrition is critical. As I mentioned before, eating the purest and the best that Mother Nature offers. Not food that is sprayed, because then it just creates more chemicals in your body, creates more stagnation and less energy. So that is the big piece, the food. Then the movement, getting yourself moving, everything, getting yourself breathing. You know, when was the last time you breathed really deeply? Most people breathe shallow. Learning to breathe properly, taking in the air, taking in space. That's about taking space in the world. When you learn to take in your breath and really breathe in deeply and release the stagnation in your lungs, then you can also take space in the world, because that's where you're here. You're here to live your presence, your fullness of your presence, and to take space. Take your space in this world. And most people never take space. They stay in the background, they stay small and insignificant and afraid, and they feel they're stuck because they've never learned to take space. But breath work, you know, deep breathing allows you to take space in this world. And also becoming clear, you know, who am I really and why am I here? When was the last time you contemplated that question? Who are you? Because you're not just flesh and bones. You are a living masterpiece in constant rebirthing. Knowing that alone is a paradigm shift. It's a whole different foundation to live your life with. You are the masterpiece, and you're constantly recreating yourself. You're constantly renewing and regenerating. And you can always recreate yourself. If you don't like the way your life is right now, you can recreate it. Any moment you can choose again. That's the power of choice. You always have choice. That's something we're not told as children, that we always have choice. We're told that someone else chooses for us. No, you always have choice in any given moment. If you don't like the way your life is, because your life is based on the choices you made in the past. So if you don't like it, it's about making new choices in the future, but starting right here, right now, by becoming very clear, what masterpiece are you creating? Who are you? And why you're here? And knowing you're not here to suffer or just to get by in life or just to play small. No, you're here to play grand and majestic, because you're the masterpiece. And I'm gonna have a masterclass this Saturday, and I want to invite you to join me in collaboration with my beloved friend, Coach John, who is an expert in movement and breath work and fitness, getting the body moving, healing the body from any pains, any stiffness, any tightness. He's very good at that. He actually helped me to release a pain in my wrist that I've been having for a while, just by having a different perspective. Instead of focusing on the pain in that area, how about we focus on the entire system and approach it with movement and with breath and most of all mindset, like seeing healing in a very different way. So please join me this Saturday, and I will put the link under this video in the section. Also, the link is in my bio. And it's this Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna dive deep into health. Why health is wealth, why your health is your most precious asset, and it's actually worth investing time and energy and money into your health, because it will compound, it will multiply and magnify, and you can actually resculpt your body, you can train yourself to become a different person, have a new body, new mindset, entirely new. Everything can be recycled and regenerate and renewed because you're this masterpiece. We're gonna dive deep into all different tools and modalities. And John's gonna go really deep on how the body really heals, because it's different than what we've been told. We've been lied to. There's so much misinformation out there, and that healing is complicated, when in fact healing is simple. You have a few simple pieces that you have to put together, and then of course it's the consistency. Consistency is the key to any results in all areas. But if you take these pieces, you apply them with consistency, there's a guaranteed you will create results. It cannot not happen. I can actually guarantee you this because I've seen it over and over and over again. So please join us this Saturday for the free masterclass. And we also open up the space for questions. Any question you can bring about health and the healing of the body and how natural healing and everything has to do with healing and empowerment and transformation, you can bring these questions. We offer you solutions you can implement right away that will make a massive difference in your life. Because it's never too late. It doesn't matter where you are, which condition you have, doesn't matter of your age, that all doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's about showing up and choosing differently and letting go. It's an unlearning process of all we've been learned about health and what it requires, and a lot of this program that is out there in the field that tell us in certain conditions you have to do this and this and that, this can't be healed. No, anything can be healed, any condition can be reversed, and all symptoms are simply, these are messengers, these are signs that you are out of alignment with yourself, that your body is out of balance, and it's about getting back into balance. It's really that simple, and removing the blockages that block you from experiencing radiant health. So it's an unlearning process, it's a letting go process, it's a releasing process. Whether it's weight, if you have weight issues, big piece about weight, they don't tell you, it's not just about the diet, and it's actually diets don't even work. Just look at the word diet, there's the word diet. Who wants to die in? Diet, it's about living it. So we give you living foods, and losing weight is about letting go of the limitations in your mind, because most people that have weight issues, they're holding on to a lot of stuff, they're holding so much, and even they go on a diet, they fast and do all kinds of things, they still can't lose the weight, or they lose it temporarily and it comes back. It's because they haven't let go of the unresolved emotions that most of us are holding, of the resentment we have, maybe against someone else, maybe the resentment against yourself in your life. It's holding a lot of shame and grief and guilt. All that stuff is stored in your body. It is stored in your cells. And when you hold a lot of stuff, whether it's judgment, it's resentment, it's not liking life, not trusting in life, not liking the way your life is, that also is all, you're holding a lot of stuff. So it's very difficult to let go of weight. So we got to look into emotional hygiene, emotional mastery, and knowing how to release these emotions. So it's a deep letting go process. And of course, mindset. Mindset is big. It all starts with what you believe is possible for you and how you see yourself. That is the foundation for everything, because that influences what you eat, what you think, the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you manage stress, the way you show up in life, the way you interact with others. It all comes from your mindset. So we're gonna go dive into deep in mindset as well. So I thank you for joining me tonight, and I look forward to see you on Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time via Zoom. And I look forward to see you and being able to provide an entire new outlook on health and what is actually possible for you. Sending so much love. Thank you.